I'm staying in Scotland at the moment in this beautiful lodge, and I'm testing out the Freewell Filter limited edition 14 pack for the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I am finding some fingerprints on my filters when I go out and about with them. So if you're going to go for this pack, be prepared to take your lens cloth with you. It's hard to be so precise when you're taking your filter on and off and you just pick up fingerprints. It's just part of it. I do quite like the selection of this actually, given they've given us 14 filters. So I like the fact that we've got the ND8 and the ND16. The ND8 was missing on the Mini 4 Pro, which I thought was a slightly strange omission. We've got some long exposure ones, which, you know, is the Osmo Pocket 3 really for photography? You know, it could be used, and for time lapses you could have some creative shots with this. But overall I think the mix is pretty good with this. You know, 14 filters, this is a fairly small pack. So you do notice the difference in the size. You know, you could easily just about fit this in your pocket. The standard ND filters, they're important to use, they're of course be important. But in terms of Christmassy shots like we're seeing outside, the mist filter and the LPR filter, those ones for those blue hour shots. So that's the mist filter there, so I can see, yeah, a little bit of a blooming effect there. White balance, manual, because I want you to be able to see it's going to change. Okay, so it's going to have a more bluish look when I add the LPR filter on. Okay, let's add it on there. Right, okay, so you see that it's taken away a little bit of the yellow from the tungsten, and I do prefer this look, and it's brought the blues out a little bit. The good news is that I've discovered that you can actually stack these. Okay, so I was interested to see what would happen. Stack the mist filter with the LPR filter. This could take some really nice blue hour shots. So this is without any filter on. Okay, let's add on the mist filter. Now for me, this is when it looks nice. Just these smaller lights, a little bit of a blooming effect. I think this is pretty appealing. So we've got a stacked LPR plus mist filter, snow mist 1/4, and then let's take both filters off so you can see the difference. And yeah, I mean this is a perfect scenario for where I think there's a use for these filters. Quick mention about your normal ND filters. Of course they're important, but I'm sure you've all seen so much already on YouTube about these bad boys. You know, how many hours of our lives have we wasted watching the waving hand test? So your shutter speed should be double the frame rate to create that motion blur, to give us the more cinematic look. And a quick mention about the CPL filters as well. Now, these aren't ones I'm too fussed about. It's just when you get to a lake or something and the reflection's a bit too strong, gives you the chance to just make it less distracting, just make them a bit darker. And you can also customize the effect of this. And it's quite clever how it's an ND filter combined with the polarizing filter as well. But personally, I have these in the bag, and that rare occurrence, you know, once every couple of months where I get the reflections too strong, I might use these. Now, personally, if I had the choice, I'd prefer to have 2 mist filters instead of 5 polarizing filters. Just a little bit of constructive criticism to Freewell, because occasionally, if you're quite close to the light source, you might want to get a little bit of a mist effect, and this can be too strong. So when you've got the fairy lights, you know, Christmas lights on the tree, this mist filter looks beautiful, but sometimes just a regular street light, it can look a little bit much. And if there's any sort of natural mist out there anyway, yeah, you probably don't need the mist filter, but add this bad boy on as well and it looks ridiculous. Quick note about using screen protectors. At the end of my review of the Osmo Pocket 3, the original one, I did mention that I bought a screen protector, and the filters do work with this. However, the magnetic effect isn't quite as strong, so you do need to be careful. And especially when you've got your extended pole out, I've noticed they fall off a couple of times. So I am going to have to think about whether I just take off my screen protector, especially when I'm using these. I'm going to message a few manufacturers of screen protectors actually to see if they can make them a little bit smaller so they just cover the glass, the important part of the glass, so you don't get any scratches near the camera lens. So you just have that little area around, and then the magnetism will still work well. Another quick note as well, I'm really happy about this. In fact, Christmas has come early. New firmware update. We all love a good firmware update, don't we? Now we've got 4K 120 D-Log-M. I'm so happy about this. I love the slow motion shots, especially getting creative, getting unusual angles. But I just didn't like the fact that it was only normal mode before. So now this camera is even better than it was before, and you can expect this with DJI. They change it, especially when the camera's just been relaunched. So I am at the moment still doing my social media detox. It's hard, but it's been really rewarding so far. I'm allowed to create these videos for you guys, that's part of my rules, but I'm not allowed to go on Instagram, you know, I wasn't on TikTok anyway, but it's been really different experience to what I expected, and I'll hopefully see you guys in that video. And I will be using these filters in part of that as well, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys soon.